And coming to you live from Do Guam, we are here with the next installment, the 10th anniversary of the ESL Open Cup Fueled by Dare OCE number 10. I'm your host, Yaku of Zaku, and with me today I have Las Rodillas que hablan Vietnamita himself, Light_VIP. I'm really glad that we had a re there, because that means we have more time to intro.
What's up, Yaku? We're here. We're live once again. And we've got a little bit of a treat as we are getting the lobby set up once again. We rarely have this. We were kind of robbed of it. I remember, last week when Hut was on a tear, we were hoping to catch him like versus Seither or something. It didn't happen. But nonetheless, we are getting a TvT.
Yet we are. And again, we have never had this, not in GPO, not in the Open Cup Fueled by Dare, ever. Not in Audai, never in a C/OCE based tournament. There's just not a lot of Terran players around.
We talked about it last time. There's literally 3. There's
literally 3 in Australia. Used to be 4. No, used to be 5, but then they both switched and then retired.
Yep, pretty much.
And speaking of pretty much, here we are starting off pretty much on Nightshade, otherwise known as Melanona. LE, of course, standing for Liquid. Egg. And the top left-hand corner map spawning. In the top left-hand corner of the map, it is going to be a Teal'Zug. I just realized what colors we're getting, Light, so good luck there. The Teal'Zug, all the way in the land of Melbourne? Question mark? I can never remember which city these players are from. Representing Legacy Esports, all the way from Brisbane, we have Batty Azure. Hi.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Nightshade LE, we have the Australian Terran representing Mindfreak Gaming. Mindfreak Pro? It's Mindfreak Pro. It is Seither.
And this is not just a rarity when it comes to the no-hit bot this time. Unfortunately, too many mineral locks. But yeah, this is not just a rarity. Or rather, this matchup has a lot of hype around it, not just because of the rarity of TvT when it comes to the ANZ/C region, but also because Seither and Azure, I feel like they're kind of like rivals who have never met each other in a sense.
Yeah, I think
Azure,
even in the few times that Seither has played in GPO, which I think is like 2, I think he's also missed Azure as well. Like, it's something that just hasn't really happened.
Exactly, and in a way, I also kind of feel like Seither may have kind of whatchamacallit, outshined or upstage. Yeah, upstage, that's the term. Upstage Azure for a while, because as we all know, Azure, he was there from the very early on in GPO, basically the only consistent Terran player coming in.
Yeah.
Then Seither had to come up and win one before Azure.
Although
Azure eventually won it, but yeah. He wasn't the first winner there anymore. Azure now going to be showing off a little bit of style here with that proxy starport.
Yeah, I was a little bit concerned because going into this in the lobby, both players were kind of joking about going BCs against each other. I was very concerned.
That concerned you? I was looking at that and I was thinking, yes, let's go.
And yeah, sure, being a little bit cheeky here, proxying this starport. We'll see what it manages to get done, as Seither still doesn't quite know about it.
But he does know that a starport is generally what the Terran player wants to throw at you in the TvT, so we already see him preparing that Cyclone. If there was a fusion core here, that Liberator, that'd been a lot lot beefier, if I do say so myself. They'll have encountered it.
Yeah. Would you have wanted? Would this have been the perfect time to go lib range? Is this what should have happened?
I'm not sure about perfect, but yes, I think every time an opening that a player gets a fusion core or goes for a proxy starport, it should be lib range.
And no reaction. The Cyclone isn't here yet.
Yeah, a little bit delayed there, and this is a terrible position for that Cyclone to be, but it does manage to sneak around. But in the meanwhile, a very perfect distraction here for Azure. Does manage to sneak in his Hellions and Reapers. The Mineral Lack completely evaporated.
He's actually gonna kill everything.
He is. Seither, he's still got some army supplied, which I think is on the other side of the map in the form of Reapers, and now it's gonna have to be coming home. GG is called, and Azure, he is upset that Seither stole his thunder way back when.
Wow. Okay. I wasn't sure if I didn't think the game would end then and there, but the wall wasn't up. Yeah, the wall wasn't up for Seither. Like the Hellions, they just rolled all on in. That
was just about the perfect timing. That's why it's always a mantra when you go Hellion Liberator, or basically anything Liberator, you got to go in at the same time. Keep your opponent distraction. And
yeah,
I think I was watching. I think it was NA Apprentice Cup with you and Yoda Slim, and you two were talking a little bit about how a lot of TvTs tend to go really long into the late game. I think that's because TvT is a sort of stylistic thing. You see a difference in each region, right? In NA, you typically like to see this sort of slower TvT style. Down here, in the other end of the world, it's flipped on its head. TvT
Literally.
is very aggressive, yeah.
In more ways than one. And yeah, again, we'll see how they play, because again, like we haven't really been able to cast very many, if any, TvTs at all when it comes to the Australian players. So we'll see how they
all two
how
of
their
them.
Styles are. Yeah, well, hey, for the longest time there were two, to be fair.
But speaking of the two, here they are now going to be spawning in here onto Everdream EDLE Edle, which does, of course, stand for every dairy lactose exclusive. Every dairy lactose exclusive. That's a product marketing thing for soy milk or something along those lines. In the bottom left-hand corner of the map, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, we do in fact have the Teal Terran. Gonna be coming in all the way from Brisbane. He is the man with Harpoon himself. He is going for the proxy. We have, representing Legacy Esports, it's Azure. Hi.
Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Everdream LE, we have the Australian Terran, the two-time ESL Open Cup champion. Is it two? Yeah?
Two, yeah.
Two-time champion representing Mind Freak SC2. It is Seither.
So remember how you said we were really curious as to how these two very consistent Terran players would face against each other? They never meet. This is a rarity, and now our questions are answered.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I understand where Azure is coming from. I think most people would agree that Seither, there's a reason why he's already won 2 of these tournaments, right? Like, he is like a pretty strong, solid player. We've talked about how talented he is, or how like he often didn't play StarCraft, he'd play Tarkov, but he'd still be like good and performing well. So for Azure to come out with a couple of cheeky builds kind of makes sense to me, and we'll see if he can pull it off 2 games in a row.
I actually completely forgot the joke I wanted to make at the start of this 10 minutes. It was like, yes, Seither, he plays a lot of Tarkov, so he has experience being a man with gun, shooting at other men with gun. But yeah, I think Azure has a little bit more experience there. Brisbane, it's one hell of a place, let me tell you. I do see a very nice bunker block here coming out from Azure doesn't quite get it up, which will be very annoying, but just having that block there, you know, it limits Seither's micro so much. Cool wall, even Seither
exactly.
knows it.
Yeah. So what happened was the bunker was placed in such a way where the Reapers were actually body blocked by it, and they couldn't protect the SCVs that were making the bunker. So both SCVs got taken out. Azure, he was trying to protect them, but the angle was awkward, and
I think that's a little bit of a gamble that you take with that sort of wall. You're kind of hoping that your SCV will sort of stay more towards your side of the map, but yeah, that's a risk that didn't quite pay off here for Azure.
Yeah. So with this, it looks like Seither, he has held quite nicely. We do have a factory on the way at home, and still more and more Reapers are being produced by Azure.
That we do. He's kind of trying to brute force this and trying to deal with whatever Seither has on the ground. Just trying to brute force that, buying time for that factory to come up. Probably gonna get a Cyclone behind that because he knows he's kind of effed in the anti-air department. I know this is Australia, but I don't think we can curse that far. So.
Yeah, but we'll see if it even comes out in time for the Liberator, as the Liberator for Seither is already moving out.
Yeah, I was gonna say that this is a pretty decent spread of Reapers here for Azure, but in the end, I guess the firepower coming up from Seither just a little bit too much there. We do see him now reduced to only 3 Reapers.
Yeah, and these Reapers, like their goal is to just buy time, keep Seither busy across the map, and give Azure the opportunity to breathe and establish himself as he is, you know, getting a couple of bases behind this.
That Cyclone is only halfway done, Light. This is gonna get so much lost mining time, or potentially a lot of damage if Azure doesn't react fast enough.
Yeah, and what can he can't do anything, just wait for that Cyclone. Oh, God.
Okay, I was worried about the rally, but it was in the proper position. 6 SCVs already going down. And this is, on top of that, a lot of lost mining time. You see only 45 minerals, 0 mining. The barracks is going to get a little bit of scout, though, and Azure sees that Seither, he's pretty far ahead in terms of economy, but in terms of tech, Azure isn't too far behind. I say that, but in the decision game, economy is tech, so...
Yeah, Azure, he does see where his opponent is when it comes to his economy and tech, and Seither, he is pretty well ahead, but at the same time, that may not matter, as at the end of the day, tanks can be really good defensively, and even if you are down in supply, even by a little bit, like, you can still hold on defensively. But the Raven does kind of change things up, you know, with a Raven, you can just completely disable them, and that could be the winning move here for Seither. He's even getting 2.
So
there are 3 even. Oh, God.
Yeah, this is a little bit overkill, to say the least, but let's keep Seither alive.
Yeah, and I do like this Azure. He is like trying to micro and pick away as many units as he can with his Cyclones, and he does pick off a fair amount. I'm sure he would have liked to have locked on to those Ravens and maybe sniped some of those, but it does take what he can get. He is expanding as well. He does have his units here in the middle just in case there is a move out. And with a defensive tank, again, like, this is looking okay for Azure, but like, because of the amount of Ravens, it's going to be so difficult. It's all about zoning the Ravens away from that tank.
Exactly. I'm just watching the production tab, and I'm getting worried for Azure. He does not have a lot of anti-air. Seither going to be the first to take air control here with the Vikings. He won't even need it right now. He's Azure waiting for this reactor to finish as well. This is going to delay his Vikings for so long, and I think this is going to be a pretty straightforward victory for Seither unless a miracle happens, like
unless
he loses
like
the ability to move his hands.
Yeah, like, unless like the Cyclone locks onto the Raven and takes out both of them somehow, and then maybe, even then, the ground army may be strong enough to just push into the tank fire. He can just land the Vikings as well on top of the tanks. There's a lot of options here for Seither.
Spread right now, very good disable. He still has 2, maybe 3 available to him right now. Seither does. Now, not even going to be using them. The auto turret is going to be enough, as he has identified there is just nothing on the ground here for Azure other than these tanks, and it's going to be taken completely out. Azure does steal that air control, but it's not going to be working out for him whatsoever. Seither just moving across the map. He has everything in his court right now.
Yeah, that failed proxy it put him so far behind at the start of the game. Azure was pretty all in with that, and we can see how that kind of snowballed. The Liberator with
But
all those,
the land of Vikings, though, they are providing a bit of a buffer here for Azure, and they do manage to take out all of the Marines. There isn't any high ground vision here for Seither, and I don't know if Azure can continue to produce Vikings and tanks behind this. He might be able to hold on, but the question is, what's his follow-up? As we do see a Seither already getting a third.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Number one land there, Azure. GG is called. Seither evens out the series. Sideways 1-1.
Alright, I got a question for you, Yaku. Is Azure going to proxy 3 games in a row?
Yes. There's a reason why he has a Maru portrait in game.
Are we gonna see BCs in the final game?
No.
No?
Unless it goes really late game. I feel like early game BCs are a lot more of a TvZ sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
As Steelbolt says, and I mean he said it before the BC patch, but even now it's still kind of relevant. In a TvT, the player who starts making BCs as a response to BCs instead of proactively, the player who proactively makes BCs is at a disadvantage to the player who makes BCs as a reaction to seeing BCs. I just realized that I don't know. I just realized that I don't know the reason behind that. It just sort of makes sense to me. Maybe it's just because of the accent. Maybe I'm just like, yes. When Steelix says it, his voice sounds really convincing, so I believe it. I didn't ask for a follow-up. It's when he says just the BCs are stupid with such conviction. I'm like, yeah, I'm with you there. Where here we are, speaking of BCs, we are going to be spawning in onto Eternal Empire, L-E-E-L-E, Ile, which does, of course, stand for every encounter lacks emotion. Every encounter lacks emotion. That is my review of some movie. I'll come up with it later. Here in the top right-hand corner map, spawning in the top right-hand corner of the map, not proxying yet this game, we have the Teal Terran all the way from the land of Brisbane. He is the man with Harpoon himself, representing Legacy Esports. We have Batty Azure. Ahai.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Eternal Empire LE, we have the Australian Terran representing Mind Freak SC, as well as the city of Sydney? Question mark? Maybe?
Seither strikes me as a bit of a northerner.
Maybe.
Queensland?
It is Seither.
Okay, I guess I'm buying you the pizza tonight, Light. Because we do not see a proxy.
Yeah, Azure so far playing straight up in game number 3, and to me this kind of makes sense, especially on a map like Eternal Empire. We do see pretty long macro games on this. I was actually talking to Yodasim about this, where on Eternal Empire, I feel like we mainly see like 2 ends of the spectrum, either really long games or like proxies, basically.
One-sided,
because, yeah.
Build or loss, if you will.
Very little in between. But yeah, we'll see how this plays out.
That, in fact, we will. I think we're gonna be gearing in for the first time, perhaps a half-hour game.
We'll see. As Azure, they are differing in their openers. Typically we do see them mirror each other, but now Azure is going for Widow Mines, which is quite interesting.
In an early game in a TvT, that's a little odd. You don't typically see a lot of things such as mine drops in a TvT. I'm thinking this is more to catch off a Hellion or a Reaper earlier on. We'll see if Azure commits to mines, as they're just not as effective in the TvT compared to tanks. No matter if you're playing against bio or tank.
Yeah, I've rarely seen this opener. Typically it's either like double double Reaper or like Cyclone openers or things along those lines, or even bio. But yeah, it's interesting to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it is just because of the opening that Azure went for. He went Reaper, just a single Reaper, without even an expansion behind this. So he knows that most likely his opponent, he's going to be coming at him with a couple of Reapers, maybe a couple of Hellions thrown into the mix. And that mine is really going to be one of the most useful things to, if at the very least, buy him some time.
Yeah. I mean, this feels like Azure was expecting Seither to be very aggressive, and he's just setting up incredibly defensively with this tank, with this Widowmine, and keeping his units at home as well. He didn't even send his Reaper across the map because typically Terran players go double Reaper as well, so that's probably not a good idea. So
at the very least, yeah, double.
Yeah, so like he just kept everything at home, expecting Seither to move out across the map, and he didn't.
Yeah, expectations versus reality, if you will. Now, Seither is, or Azure rather, is going to be the first player to move in with his Cloak Banshees. Seither did decide to go for the Banshees, but did not quite get them as quick. And I'm pretty worried for Seither right now. He spent a lot of that energy on Mules. He does not have a scan available to him. Now scrambling to try to get a Raven out.
Yeah, the Raven, it's nowhere near done. So actually, this Banshee's getting an insane amount of damage. Like, an abnormal amount of damage. This is
absolutely, if it can snipe the anti-air, and by that I mean the Cyclone, absolutely huge. Gets a Cyclone. This Banshee is going to be completely unhindered, and sure, there are Marines out now for Seither, but honestly, a Banshee in the air, it's no contest when it comes to outranging Marines. Second Banshee is going to be coming in fairly soon as well, and yeah, this is looking very, very rough. For,
honestly, he could just fight the Marines. Yeah, like the Marines are going to go down.
Yeah, he has a backup Banshee now here too.
Yeah, what?
I think this is going to be a pretty straightforward auto turret. That's the answer. They're a little bit beefier than Marines, but they are also stationary, and that's all the energy spent on that Raven.
Oh my god, this is an insane amount of damage. And well, to be fair, on the outside of the map, we do have Seither with his own Banshee trying to kill workers as well, but Azure, and Azure just pulls away.
Exactly. And again, dominating the skies. This... Wowee. Azure, the man with the harpoon from the sky, now coming in with the tank, just to add insult to injury. He's actually pulling all of his army units because he knows
he's just trying to end the game.
He is not even concerned about Seither's Viking here. Viking? No, Banshee is what I meant.
And again, like Azure with this... Yeah, with this like unorthodox builds that he went for, just completely caught Seither off guard, and oh my god, 18 workers went down.
Extend? No, he didn't. There's a tank and a bunch of Marines here. Never mind.
Yeah, there's a tank and a bunch of Marines. I was gonna be worried if there was a defensive tank for Seither, but so far there's not one in sight.
Yeah, he had to prioritize getting the Cyclone out because of those Banshees. I don't think he was expecting Azure to follow this up just so quickly. Oh, this Raven is looking to be in a lot of trouble, but does rush to throw down that auto turret before it dies. And this is looking like it's going to be game.
Yeah, it was a little bit sloppy there by Azure. He does lose his Raven, but again, with the rally and with the production going down, this should be enough. Even if Seither pulls all the boys, I don't know how he's gonna break this.
That's, I don't know, maybe breaking Azure's house or some GG. That's the only thing I can think of right now. All of the
internet line.
Yeah, get the uncles on the phone.
There's no production whatsoever. To be fair, Seither did get a tank out, and that forces all the Marines back home. There are only 2 tanks here, and with the auto turret, maybe the tanks can go down. Oh, it does manage to save his second tank, though. And to be fair, Azure, his force here is kind of whittled down a lot, and it's going to get cleaned up.
That it is, but again, the question you always have to ask is, what is going to be the follow-up?
Yeah, that is the question. Like, what does Seither plan to do after this? Because, sorry, what does Azure plan to do after this? Because Seither, he will be able to retake his bases and drone up or get his workers back underway. Azure, he's continuing with this bio tank, which could break him. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words right now. That's what's happening in this game.
Well, you know, Lumia
Exactly.
is all you need to know there.
At Lumia, as he is known for his Banshee play, it's impressive to say the least what Azure's been able to do with them. And yeah, he just continues to contain his opponent to keep Seither on one base. Seither is kind of struggling with his economy right now. Maybe he can break out, especially since there's not really much protecting these tanks. But after that, I kind of want to see Azure throw down a third CC, and he is making one, which is great.
Oh, that Widow Mine.
Ooh.
Did not quite kill the Raven, but that was pretty smart there by Azure.
Yeah, and now, like, especially if Azure spotted it, like, if he saw it, then he should be able to have Marines in position to take it down. Like, it's got so little health now. Oh my god, this Banshee dives in again.
At Lumia. Banshee. And it's still going to be getting out of there alive, despite the lock-on. There, again, just isn't a scan available right now. Okay, there's one scan available, and that's going to be enough there with the Viking. But again, as Seither, you don't want to be spending these scans. He is so insanely behind in terms of workers. He wants to be using them for mules, and the fact that Azure was able to force not just one but two scans out of him, again, that snowball effect, it is about to become an avalanche.
Yeah, I do like what Seither is doing with his Ravens. Like, he's being pretty conservative. He's not diving into the mineralize. He's just trying to get whatever damage he can done, whatever value he can get done. And yeah, just trading energy for units, for supply depots. This is good stuff. This is a good start. But he still hasn't even taken his natural.
And, well, I mean, it's built, but yeah, he's not able to mine from it whatsoever. The Banshees keep on coming, and they don't stop coming. And okay, not gonna be able to deny Stim here, but even still, just having the Banshee force more scans, kill more workers, that's just more and more damage. I'm just taking it pretty cautiously right now. As we all know, TvT, it can snowball very well, but at the same time, global warming can put a stop to that snowball. So I do like that Azure has decided not to just go across the map with his entire army just yet. He is just going to be waiting until he's built up the proper force. I mean, you don't want to. You're so far ahead right now. You don't want to like throw. You don't want to throw your lead as you will. As Azure, he is over double the supply of Seither. And Seither, he's a good player, so Azure just making sure he's playing this as careful as possible, as well as he can, to make sure he can close this out. As this is a little bit of an upset again. Like, this is the first round of the tournament, and Seither, he has won this. He's one of the few players who has actually won this. Is it an upset though? Yes. Oh, okay. Right, yeah, it's yeah, I think a lot of eyes are on Seither, but again, Seither did win a lot of the ESL Open Cups off the back of TvZ and TvP, because again, this is the first time I think we're seeing a TvT in ESL Open Cup fueled by Dare, and we didn't get to see a lot of Azure's TvT, to be fair, either, but somehow I did have him page as one of those. I did page him just a little bit above Seither in the particular matchup. Yeah, it's probably because of the proxies. We can probably say the same about HUD as well, where I don't think their TvT has really been tested. We just haven't seen it, so it's kind of difficult to judge where they are in that matchup, because sure, they can excel in TvZ and TvP and win tournaments off the back of that, but now we're seeing them in this matchup that maybe they're not too used to. We can see who comes out ahead in that. Oh, okay, okay. Like, we gotta do something about teal and blue. I thought Seither was coming into the flank, but yeah, it looks like Azure's massive drop not gonna be able to really come in. These Vikings could get zoned out by the Marines, though, as Azure, he's just looking to force his way through. I do not think there are going to be enough Vikings here, to be honest. Seither, or Azure rather, he can just boost straight on in, and just bombard the tanks like this. This might be a little bit too many Marines onto one tank, no. But in the end, it is still a lot of Marines. 24 SCVs. Take it out to drop it a hat. GG is called. Come on, phone. And you have it here first, folks. Confirmation. Harpoon more than Tarkov.
GG. And you know, we said it before when we casted Demi in the previous weeks, but you know, GPO greater than ESL. I mean, I don't know. Azure was the more recent GPO champion, and he comes out on top.
Wait, didn't you Michael win the latest?
I mean, compared like Seither and Azure, who's the most recent GPO champion, right? Yeah. GG.
G to the G. I am really glad that we got to catch this this unicorn in a sort of oceanic tournament, and yeah, that definitely was definitely a series that delivered on its expectations. I think I wasn't really expecting a super long, very drawn out series, but I was expecting a lot of aggression, a lot of sort of cheeky plays, and this was it.
Yeah, and there's a reason why we wanted to jump on this series for the first round. Like, TvT is just such a rarity, so we wanted to make sure we got on that. We were able to cast that, and yeah, Azure, he's already taken out one of the champions, and yeah, it's, to be fair though, it's not going to be easy. I'm just looking at the bracket. Oh my god, another one. Demi versus Pez in round 1. Jesus Christ.
That's definitely something to look out for.